Hello, this is a video for Danny Sunard, my old bandmate and old friend, now living in Argentina, I believe. Well, Danny, yeah, you want to know the ins and outs of this pedal board. Well, I'll start with this. That's a tuner, that's where my guitar goes into. From the tuner it goes into this, which is the EHX Cockfight wah pedal, which is a wah with a fuzz in it. If we just bypass this a sec. Clean sound, right? And I'm just going to turn this on. Wow pedal, yes. And then you can switch it. It's got this weird sort of vowel filter as well. And it's also got fuzz, which you can put before or after the wah. This is before. And this is after. And you can change the character of the fuzz, and it's a volume control and all sorts of stuff. There's also a bottom end filter, which is pretty handy. Anyway, turn that off. Right, anyway, so that's guitar into here, into this, and then it goes into this. And I've got an extra loop here actually that I'm not actually using right now, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, so this is the loop switcher, and right now it's nothing selected, so the signal's just coming straight out of here, going into the input of my Blue Guitar Amp 1, which is actually a 100 watt guitar amp with 4 different channels actually, but I'm only using the one channel. I'm using the vintage channel with the boost engaged, but with the gain turned right down, so it's mostly clean. And in the loop of this, the effects loop, which is between the preamp and the power amp on this, is a 100 watt power amp in this. I've got a send here that's going into the Strymon Flint, and the return from Strymon Flint going back into this. Basically, the Flint is what I use for reverb. There's reverb in this as well, which is okay, passable, but the Strymon Flint is much more realistic reverb. It's got 3 different types of reverb as well. The one I'm using mostly, and the one that it's set for right now, is the Spring. That's because I play in a couple of bands where, well, one of them is real authentic surf, and the other one is very surf inspired. So it needs to have that old sort of authentic vintage sound, which is, this is pretty authentic, I think. I don't know. But it's set for quite a lot of reverb because that's the way I play with this band. Although this pedal board actually was conceived to be used with Dust Junkies, which is, well, I'll explain about that again in a sec. But in the Flint, there's also a tremolo, which I use quite a lot as well. There's a few different types. I use that one mainly, but I also use this harmonic tremolo, which sounds kind of like a roto vibe sometimes. It's got that no quarter type sound. Yes, but then here, sorry, let's get to the nuts and bolts of it now. Here in this switcher, in switch 2, I've got this mini tube screamer set in. So when I hit that, got like a crunchy kind of sound. I'll just suddenly reverb off so you can hear it a bit better. Yes, and I've got this set up so that when I hit these switches, 1, 2 or 3, it switches the other one off. Basically, I'm using this as kind of like a switcher on a 3-channel amp. So switch 1 would be my clean sound, switch 2 would be my sort of crunchy semi-distorted sound, and switch 3 would be my drive sound. And switch 3 is going to this SL drive, this exotic SL drive pedal here. But if I wanted, if I hit these switches for the channels here, there's like little switches hidden up here, then I can have them both on at once. So if I have them both on at once, both drives, then you get more sort of like this. That sounds a bit hard to play when I'm trying to balance all this stuff as well. But you get the idea. So and this is actually going into the tube screamer and then into this and then back out through in that configuration. But generally I have it so that it switches between them like this. Switch one and the others turn off. And then number 4, this is going to this flashback mini, which at the moment I've got set up with a sort of slapback type delay, I believe. Yes, I'm going to hit the reverb again. You get the kind of idea. So it's got that sort of old, echoey kind of vintage sound, and this one I've got set up so I can use it with, you know, if I can use it with the distortions as well. Yes, and that was the delay. Obviously, you can alter the delay time if you want something a little bit longer, like if you want like sort of like a. Oh, was have to switch it on, of course. Yeah, you get the idea. And then I've got it set up now with this Strymon favourite switch. Basically, what this does is when you hit this, it selects a sound in the flints that I've saved. This by holding different buttons down and stuff. One of the secondary functions of this is that you've got a -3 dB or +3 dB boost or cut, obviously. And at the moment, I've got it whenever I've got the reverb on, which I have all the time with the surfy stuff. I've got it set to -3 dB, so it's actually taking. If you listen, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's when I switch it off, the signal gets louder because I've got it set to cut 3 dB, and that enables me then when I hit the favourite switch to have the exact same settings as I've got it set here, but then I've got it boosting 3 dB, so really it's a jump of 6 dB. And use that as a kind of like a solo boost. Oh, well, that's what I'm intending to do anyway. So I've got that set up like that. And that's pretty much it really. It's very, very simple. That's how it works. I'm not going to be using the Cockfight Plus with the surfy stuff over, maybe very rarely. Maybe I'll use the fuzzes, I don't know. But as I say, it was conceived originally with the Dust Junkies in mind. That's why I've got the 3 channels and, you know, all that. But that's basically it. And down here, hidden away, this blue thing down here, that's the power supply. That's a Strymon Zoomer, which gives me 8 500 milliamp outputs to power the pedals. And that's that. Right. That was a long 8 minutes and 27 seconds.